Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us on day 4 of our live scheduled programming for Head of the Charles. Today, again, we're just going to get right into our piece. Thank you for joining us. And if you've got your monitor set up ready to go, let's pick up the handle and we'll get started. Here we go. So right away, let's find a good cadence. Today, we're going to try and press sitting around 24 strokes a minute, give or take, for the first half of the race, just about. And then we're going to press into more of the sort of 25, 26 range. Doing great. So, going to do a little bit of visualization, if you will. Right away, you're sitting next to the big BU boathouse. They call you forward. Everyone has a bow card on their number. So they usually have some number indicating what order they're going to race in. So we can pretend we're sitting number, 2, 3, or 4, or something like that. And we've got both a boat in front of us and a boat behind us. We pass that BU boathouse, you hear mark. And then the adrenaline starts to rush in. If you've ever raced it before, there's sort of no other feeling like it. There's a lot of strategy and different things that go into racing it, because Charles is just super windy. So right away, crews will just try and press to get as close as they can, or they'll wait, they'll bide their time, try and pass at the opportune moment if they can. But for us, we're just going to stick to our guns and ride out this first mile. It's a very classic 3-mile course, kind of old school. So for this first mile, again, we've just passed the BU boathouse. We're coming up on the railroad bridge. Comes up right after BU boathouse. You get the railroad bridge and the BU bridge. And there's sort of this moment of calm. You realize the race has really just started. And it's time to just lock in. You got your teammates around you, or, like right now, we're in a single or something. It's time to just press off the person behind us, close that gap, person in front of us. And we've got our great viewers on today. We got Daniel and Chloe and Madison. Perfect little 3-boat race here. As we get pressing through, can use that sort of competitive virtual platform to race. We'll keep sitting up and breathe. We've come through those bridges, the echoes of the splash, echoes of the cars going by, and people yelling, cheering you on. Doing that right here, right now. We can do this. Just sit on that pace, right on 24 with me. If it feels a little too easy, too early on, just ride it out for a little bit. Sometimes it's kind of easy to get caught in the moment and realize you got another 15 minutes of the race or 20 minutes of the race. And there's not a worse feeling sometimes to get nervous. You're not going to quite finish. So let's stay controlled. We'll stay composed. And with that, take a deep breath. Keep the rating, but just flow. Make it feel easy for a little bit with a good firm press. Should feel good. Nicely done. Keep cruising here. We've exited those bridges. Coming around the Magazine Beach turn now. First turn of the course. Coming around Cambridge side of the river. This is where some boats try to be a little sneaky. And they press on really, really early. Thinking they're gonna pass early. But there's 2 bridges in the powerhouse stretch after Magazine Beach. Powerhouse stretch is sort of this nice straight stretch. Lots of bridges to come up on, lots of spectators. And there's a couple different routes you can go. Everyone sort of has to make a decision what arch they're gonna go through, if they're gonna pass, if they can pass. So we're gonna buckle up. We're gonna go for the pass in the powerhouse stretch. So coming up on it now, we're gonna see Riverside Boat Club coming up on our side, just passing their dock. Feels good to do a bit of a flyby. Doing great here. Flyby is coming to an end. You just passed that dock. People start to yell on that first bridge, the River Street Bridge. And we push past River Street. Here we go. That's coming up on the first mile of the race done. So the first mile of the race, just a couple minutes away. Super official white spray paint mark within the 2 bridges of the powerhouse stretch. Just denoting that you've just flown by that first mile. Sometimes it seems a little longer than you might have expected. Be like, ooh, that took a little while. But some of you might be thinking, I'm cruising, I'm crushing it. And either way, we'll start to dig our heels in, push the heels first, fire those glutes. That's it. Glutes and core action right now. You want to feel yourself press off that footboard through the whole foot. Never forget to breathe. That adrenaline can take over sometimes. Nice, we settled in well. All right, as we come up on River Street, we're gonna take a push to finish this first mile. We're gonna sit up. We're gonna breathe. And the rate might come up a little bit, but it's more about the power. So whatever split or watts or calories you're holding right now, you're just gonna push a little bit faster. 10 strokes with me on this next stroke. Now, here we go. Pressing through. That's 2, good job. 3, hold it out. 4, keep pressing. 5, you're walking on the next crew. 6, 7, pushing the crew behind us away. 8, that's 9, and 10. That's it. So if you can, hold on to that pressure rest of the race. If not, find that previous pressure you had. We make good solid distance on those crews around us. So we're sitting in sort of that one boat ahead of us, one boat behind us, and we want to push away that other boat behind us and creep on in the one in front of us. Here we go. Keep breathing. Find your momentum. Zone in again. Nice move through that bridge. But we're coming up on one more in the powerhouse stretch before we come up to the really strong Weeks turn. You know, the cheering starts to die down once you pass that Weeks turn. We still got plenty of people yelling at us to go faster. Words of encouragement. We're hot on the heels, ready to pass that other boat. All right. I'm calling it now. You can hear the echoes of that bridge arch coming through. Your teammates give you a little shout. You're doing a great job. Just a little, yeah, a little chirp. You're doing great. Keep the morale high. We're crushing this right now. That's it. Keep sitting up. Find that motivation. push through the middle part of the race. This middle mile can be the toughest mile for a lot of racers. Most people can really push that last mile. You know, they hear the crowd again. They know the finish line is coming up. But the middle mile, where it gets quiet, the legs get heavy, the back gets tired, those are where the winners are really made. They make their ground up. They stick to their speed. That's exactly what we're gonna do. We'll take another push as we stick to our speed. Coming through the Weeks turn, really sharp turn on the Charles. You know, if you're rowing on your own, then you just gotta manage that turn. But if you've got a coxswain, you're in a bigger boat, maybe you've raced before, they just line you up, they steer that rudder, and you get those blades just super close to the arch. Gives you that surge of confidence. You're taking the tightest racing line, like you're a bunch of Formula One cars, just, you know, taking off centimeters. Every stroke catching up to those centimeters. And by the end of the race, you know it's all worth it. So we're gonna take that push for Weeks turn. Our coxswain just gave us the tightest turn possible. We're gonna rev the engines like the Formula One car. Downshift, here we go. Press for 10 now. Let's hear those fans whip up. That's it, great. Rate came up one beat here. Let's be sitting around 25. The race is coming up on that last mile. So these next few minutes really are the judge of what you want to make of your piece. You just crushed that Weeks turn. You're coming up on the Harvard boathouses, the Radcliffe Women's Boathouse, sitting in front of Anderson Bridge, the Newell Men's Boathouse, sitting just after the bridge. So mentally, you get teed up for that turn. You got boathouse, bridge, boathouse. We're just gonna really press. Just let those images fly by in your mind. And you're hearing the water go past. Lots of spectators still. Can't quite give them a wave. Just give them the pain grimace. They know you're giving it all you got. Maybe you get some quality photos of what you look like when you're really digging, when you're going for it here. Nicely done. We've just sailed past that first boathouse. We're coming around the turn for the bridge. The echoes are coming back again. People are holding up a sign that says your name, says your boat club, whoever it is you're representing. They're screaming, screaming, screaming. Push, 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 here we go. Coming across that next boathouse. We've just entered the bridge. It's getting loud now. That echoes in the bridge. It's loud for a moment. Starting to get a good sweat on. And we're sitting on that rate, 24, 25. We realize we're almost done with the second mile, the hardest mile. Passing the Harvard Men's Boathouse now. Once you go through the bridges, it's always cool because you can hear what they're saying, but it's not until you go through and you look up and you can see all those people just crowding the bridge. You know, they have a sign for you or something, cheering you on. We've come past that Harvard Boathouse now, and it's a super technical, super precise end of the second mile. There's a red door on a church on the Cambridge shore. We're coming up on that red door now as we finish our piece to come around the Cambridge turn. It's this huge turn, and you just gotta try and keep that boat speed up, that fan speed on the erg up. as we come around that turn. We're gonna have faith in our steering capabilities mentally. Let's come around this turn, just stay on our pressure, give our teammates, our crewmates what they need to keep pushing with you here. So we've got Daniel sitting up. You know, he's rooting for Chloe and Madison as well. Right here with me. You just gotta understand, we might not be able to be in person working really hard, but if you decide to be competitive with one another, even if you're not together, we'll all get better. So let's get better and let's push for 10 strokes again to start our Cambridge turn. We're coming up on that red door, the super specific marker. All right, 10 to push on the next one, right here now. And again, it's either temporary or if you're feeling really good, continue to push this pace all the way to the end. We're gonna get a sprint in the last minute or so. Keep sitting up, keep breathing. Just gotta adjust on the seat every now and then. If you're using your glutes and your core, you should be feeling yourself press off that foot plate, press off the handles, hang off the handle. Doing an awesome job here. Let's just take a focus 5. Last 5 of this 10 for power. That's 3, 4, focusing, and 5. So keep the rate. Try and keep that press. Just move back and forth with that rhythm of power. Power-based rhythm. Right with me. Here we go. That red door's long gone. We're coming up on that big Cambridge turn. Sometimes it feels like you're just turning forever. And if you're used to sweep rowing, where you only have one oar, each person in the boat has the opposite side. And sometimes, whenever you have that wide turn to make, the people on the inside, the port side on this occasion, the left, they have to power down a little bit, and the starboard side or the right oars, they have to really push. And it helps our coxswain, it helps our boat just take that big turn. Coming around, we've got Soldiers Field Road and Memorial Drive, Sorrow Drive, just crowded with vendors. We've got our chowder in a bread bowl, our mac and cheese in a bread bowl for after the race. Nicely done. Maybe a lobster roll if you're really feeling it. I mean, everyone needs some good protein after their race, some good carbs. Let's work for those. Coming up on our last couple minutes of the race. If you're not quite at that stage, that's okay. We're still gonna keep cheering you on. Keep following that rhythm with me. Just stay focused. We're still turning here. This is where the crowd starts to pick back up a little bit. You come up on what's called Cambridge Boat Club, CBC, the Elliott Bridge. The last part of the Cambridge turn is the Elliott turn. And that's where people just start going berserk. They don't even know what boat is theirs necessarily. There's just people yelling, motivating anyone that goes by. We're gonna use that here. We're gonna press through that bridge. Coming up on the turn in the bridge, we hear those cheers. We get a little excited, get a smile on the face. We sit up, and another 10 here to get through the turn. Here we go. That's 1, 2, 3. Don't worry about anything else. 4, 5. 5 more. Count them back down. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's it. We're through the Elliott Bridge. We're coming up on the very last turn, and then the drag race of a sprint at the very end. We sit up and we breathe. We've got a boat on our inside that we've just passed almost, but not enough around the turn. And we're gonna battle with them to the finish. We know we've beaten them. We've come up on them from a 15-second deficit, but we're just gonna ride it and push even more for the people behind us. Try and win this race. Here we go. Finding our PB, our PR, whatever it is, to find your absolute best. 30 seconds to sprint in another 20 seconds. So getting ready, we're breathing. We're gonna go up on the rate to 26. On this one, power comes up just a little. Once you finish that power, we're gonna go up now. 27, even more power. That's it. 20 seconds of sprinting. Coming up on the finish line. We're neck and neck with the crew next to us. Keep pressing here. 10 seconds. You can do it. 5 seconds. Last stroke here. Done. Awesome job. If you can't tell, it's pretty difficult on my end too. You know, the competition, the adrenaline, just put yourself in the right frame of mind. And it's totally capable of pushing others that you might not even be around. And thinking about maybe next year's race, or even in a couple days, if you decide to do another Head of the Charles piece with us. If you didn't quite hit your goal today, you know, we have to sort of unpack that and, you know, figure out how we can improve. You know, failing is totally okay. It's really not a failure unless we learn from the mistake. So if we went out a little too hard, or maybe we didn't push hard enough at the beginning and we just felt like we could sprint a lot and there was just a ton left in the tank, that's totally okay. You know, you just gotta shake it off. We're gonna sit up, we're gonna cool down here. And if you still haven't finished, that's also totally okay. If you have finished, you know, we'll sit up, and it's always great to cool down the muscles, especially when you're doing something maximal like that. You know, should have a good amount of lactate flooding those legs. A little bit of sweat goes into the eyes. You know, feel free to pause a moment and get some water. I'm just gonna keep moving here. Give you guys a rhythm to follow as we just relax. The rate's gonna come down a little more. The power is gonna come down even more. And we're just gonna keep flowing. 10 seconds. Just breathe. You can sort of adjust on your seat as need be. Go and do it again. Breathe. Good, and we'll relax. I'll put the other leg out. You can relax again and down. Nicely done. And just as a final thing, you can get up and just sort of reach to each side, stretch out the lats, maybe just bend over, relax a little bit there, shake it all off. And again, thank you so much. I really enjoyed running you through that Head of the Charles piece. Feel free to come back. We've got a few more days of these live exercises going on for our Head of the Charles pieces. So thank you again for joining, and we'll see you next time.